Helvetica.
Helvetica is a widely used sans-serif typeface developed in 1957 by Swiss typeface designer Max Miedinger with Eduard Hoffmann.
History.
Helvetica was developed in 1957 by Max Miedinger with Eduard Hoffmann at the Haas Schriftgießerei, Haas Type Foundry, of Münchenstein, Switzerland. Haas set out to design a new sans-serif typeface that could compete with the successful Axedens Grotesk in the Swiss market. Originally called Ney Haas Grotesk, its design was based on Schulte Grotesk and Haas Normal Grotesk. The aim of the new design was to create a neutral typeface that had great clarity, no intrinsic meaning in its form, and could be used on a wide variety of signage. When Linotype adopted Ney Haas Grotesk, which was never planned to be a full range of mechanical and hot metal typefaces, its design was reworked. After the success of Univers, Arthur Ritzel of Stempel redesigned Ney Haas Grotesk into a larger family. In 1960, the typeface's name was changed by Haas' German parent company Stempel to Helvetica, meaning Swiss in Latin, in order to make it more marketable internationally.
Characteristics.
Tall X height, which makes it easier to read in smaller sizes, 2-store reader, with curves of bold and of stem, narrow T and F, square-looking S, bracketed top serif of 1, rounded off square tail of R, concave curved stem of 7.
Variants. Language variants.
The Cyrillic version was designed in-house in the 1970s at D. Stempel AG, then critiqued and redesigned in 1992 under the advice of Jovica Veljovic. Matthew Carter designed the Helvetica Greek. Lebanese designer Nadine Chahan designed Ney Helvetica Arabic.
Newey Helvetica Thai 2012.
Thai font designer Anuthin Wongsunkakon of Kadson D. Mac Company created Thai versions of Helvetica and Ney Helvetica fonts. The design uses loopless terminals in Thai glyphs, which had also been used by Wongsunkakon's previous design, Manup Mai, New Manup. Initial release included 6 fonts in OpenType.com format for each family in 3 weights, light, regular, bold, and 1 width, with complementary italics. OpenType features include fractions, glyph composition decomposition.
Helvetica Light.
Helvetica Light was designed by Stempel's artistic director Erich Schultz-Anker, in conjunction with Arthur Ritzel.
Helvetica Compressed.
Designed by Matthew Carter, this is a narrow variant that is tighter than Helvetica Condensed. It shares some design elements with Helvetica in Surat, but uses a curved tail in Q, downward pointing branch in R, and tilde bottom PS. The family consists of Helvetica Compressed, Helvetica Extra Compressed, Helvetica Ultra Compressed fonts.
Helvetica Textbook.
Helvetica Textbook is an alternate design of the typeface. Some characters such as 1, 4, 6, 9, I, J, A, F, J, Q, T, U, M, and P are drawn differently from the original version.
Helvetica in Surat 1957.
Helvetica in Surat is a version designed in 1957 primarily for use in the advertising industry. With metrics similar to Helvetica Black Condensed, the design gives the glyphs a more squared appearance, similar to Impact and Hatenschweiler. Strike with strokes in $C/ are replaced by non-striker through version. 4 is opened at top.
Helvetica Rounded 1978.
Helvetica Rounded is a version containing rounded stroke terminators. Only bold, bold oblique, black, black oblique, bold condensed, bold outline fonts were made, with outline font not issued in digital form by Linotype.
Helvetica Narrow.
Helvetica Narrow is a version where its width is between Helvetica Compressed and Helvetica Condensed. However, the width is scaled in a way that is optically consistent with the widest width fonts. The font was developed when printer room space was very scarce, so it was created by mathematically squashing Helvetica to 82% of the original width, resulting in distorted letter forms and thin vertical strokes next to thicker horizontals. OpenType version was not produced by Adobe under the distortion reasoning, and recommended Helvetica condensed instead. However, in Linotype's OpenType version of Helvetica Narrow, the distortions found in the Adobe fonts are non-existent.
Newey Helvetica 1983.
Newey Helvetica is a reworking of the typeface with a more structurally unified set of heights and widths. Other changes include improved legibility, heavier punctuation marks, and increased spacing in the numbers. Newey Helvetica uses a numerical design classification scheme, like Univer's. The font family is made up of 51 fonts including 9 weights and 3 widths, 8, 9, 8 in normal, condensed, extended widths respectively, and an outline font based on Helvetica 75 bold outline. No textbook or rounded fonts are available. Linotype distributes Newey Helvetica on CD. Newey Helvetica also comes in variants for Central European and Cyrillic text. It was developed at Stempel AG, a Linotype subsidiary. The studio manager was Wolfgang Skimpf, and his assistant was Reinhard Haas. The manager of the project was René Kerfanti. Eric Spiekermann was the design consultant and designed the literature for the launch in 1983.
Newey Helvetica W1G 2009.
It is a version with Latin extended, Greek, Cyrillic scripts support. Only OpenType CFF font format was released. The family includes the fonts from the older Newey Helvetica counterparts, except Newey Helvetica 75 bold outline. Additional OpenType features include subscript superscript.
Helvetica World.
Also called Helvetica Linotype, Helvetica World supports Arabic, Cyrillic, Greek, Hebrew, and Vietnamese scripts. The family consists of 4 fonts in 2 weights and 1 width, with complementary italics. The Arabic glyphs were based on a redesigned Yakout font family from Linotype. Latin kerning and spacing were redesigned to have consistent spacing. John Hudson of Tiro Typeworks designed the Hebrew glyphs for the font family, as well as the Cyrillic and Greek letters.
Newey Haas Grotesk 2010.
Newey Haas Grotesk is the most recent digitization of Helvetica's precursor, completed by type designer Christian Schwartz in 2004. This project, which he referred to as a restoration, was completed in 2010. The updated design includes a version optimized for on-screen display, as well as a style for printed text, both of which preserve the original essence of the typeface. Improved features include corrected obliques, tabular figures, stylistic updates, and an extended character set.
Newey Helvetica eText 2011.
It is a version of Newey Helvetica optimized for on-screen use, designed by Akira Kobayashi of the Monotype Imaging. The family includes 8 fonts in 4 weights and 1 width, with complementary italics, 45, 46, 55, 56, 65, 66, 75, 76. OpenType features include numerators, denominators, fractions, ligatures, scientific inferiors, subscript, superscript.
Similar typefaces.
Generic versions of Helvetica have been made by various vendors, including Monotype Imaging, CG Triumvirate, Paratype, Pragmatica, Bitstream, Swiss 721, URW++, Nimbus Sans, and Ray Larrabee, Helvetica. Monotype's Arial, designed in 1982, while different from Helvetica in some few details, has identical character widths, and is indistinguishable by most non-specialists. The characters C, G, R, Q, 1, A, E, R, and T are useful for quickly distinguishing Arial and Helvetica. Differences include: Helvetica's strokes are typically cut either horizontally or vertically. This is especially visible in the T, R, F, and C. Arial employs slanted stroke cuts. Helvetica's G has a well-defined spur. Arial does not. The tail of Helvetica's R is more upright whereas Arial's R is more diagonal. The number 1 of Helvetica has a square angle underneath the upper spur. Arial has a curve. The Q glyph in Helvetica has a straight cross mark, while the cross mark in Arial has a slight snake-like curve. HELV, later known as Miss sans-serif, is a sans-serif typeface that shares many key characteristics to Helvetica, including the horizontally and vertically aligned stroke terminators and more uniform stroke widths within a glyph.
Usage.
Helvetica is among the most widely used sans-serif typefaces. Versions exist for many alphabets and scripts. Helvetica is a popular choice for commercial word marks.
Media coverage.
In 2007, Linotype GmbH held the Helvetica Now poster contest to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the typeface. Winners were announced in January 2008 issue of the Lino letter. In 2007, director Gary Hustwit released a documentary film, Helvetica, Klickschiffen, DVD, to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the typeface. In the film, graphic designer Wim Crawell said, Helvetica was a real step from the 19th century typeface. We were impressed by that because it was more neutral, and neutralism was a word that we loved. It should be neutral. It shouldn't have a meaning in itself. The meaning is in the content of the text and not in the typeface. The documentary also presented other designers who associated Helvetica with authority and corporate dominance, and whose rebellion from Helvetica's ubiquity created new styles. From April 2007 to March 2008, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City displayed an exhibit called 50 Years of Helvetica, which celebrated the many uses of the typeface. In 2011 the Disney Hub Barcelona displayed an exhibit called Helvetica, a new typeface? The exhibition included a timeline of Helvetica's consolidation over the last 50 years with a view to understanding its role in the history of design, as well as its antecedents and its subsequent influence. The itinerary started out with a selection of local works, highlighting the top-quality design of current and past creations whose common denominator is their use of Helvetica. In 2011, one of Google's April Fool's Day jokes centered around the use of Helvetica. If a user attempted to search for the term Helvetica using the search engine, the results would be displayed in the font Comic Sans.
Notes.
AB Helvetica, documentary. September 12, 2007, MyFonts, Arthur Ritzel. New.myfonts.com February 22, 1999. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Helvetica Cyrillic. Fonts. Adobe. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Typo 18, Magazine. CZ, Svitascu. December 2005, download Ne Helvetica, R, Arabic font family. Linotype.com. Retrieved September 21, 2013, Helvetica Now available in Thai, World Wide Web log. Linotype. March 2003, Helvetica JETZT Orchen Thai, ein der Bilietessen Schriftnab sofort in ne Sprachversion Berry Linotype erhältlich, in German. March 20, 2012, Note on Helvetica Thai. Anuthin March 2, 2012, Helvetica Thai. Linotype, Manep Mai, Distribution. Anuthin plus Katsun Diamak. December 2009, De Jong, Cs W. Purvis, Alston W. Friedel, Friedrich. Creative Type, a sourcebook of classic and contemporary letter forms. Thames and Hudson. ISBN 970-50051229-6. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Type 1, PostScript to OpenType font conversion. Adobe. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Linotype Library presents entire new Helvetica family on a single CD. Linotype.com. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Who Made Helvetica Nay? Typopile.com, The Language Whiz, Helvetica Linotype. Linotype.com October 16, 2007. Retrieved June 8, 2009. Linotype releases 1100 plus open type fonts, release a significant step towards format's acceptance. Typographica.org. August 6, 2003. Archived from the original on July 4, 2008. Retrieved June 8, 2009. In the comments section, the biggest differences are the new Greek, Cyrillic and Hebrew designs, and the presence of Arabic support based on the radically redesigned Yakout linotype, not a perfect match for the Helvetica, but the most appropriate in the linotype library. This is core font Arabic support, not for fine typography. There is also a large maths and symbol set in each font, not complete maths typesetting support, but more than you'll get in most fonts. The only big change in the Latin is that the whole thing has been respaced. The old Helvetica STD Type 1 and TT fonts inherited, via phototype, the unit metrics of the original hot metal type. This led to all sorts of oddities in the cider bearings, which were cleaned up during development of Helvetica linotype. It is still quite a tightly spaced typeface by today's standards, but the spacing is now consistent. It was also rekerned. Helvetica linotype has also been extensively hinted for screen. John Hudson, Experimental Arabic Type. Typographica.org. Retrieved June 8, 2009. Macmillan, Neil. An AZ of Type Designers. Yale University Press, 2006. ISBN 0-300-11151-7, Ney Haas Grotesk. The Font Bureau, Incorporated p. Introduction, Ney Haas Grotesk, Font News. Linotype.com. Retrieved September 21, 2013, Schwarzo Incorporated. ChristianSchwarz.com. Retrieved September 21, 2013, Ney Haas Grotesk. History. The Font Bureau, Incorporated, Ney Haas Grotesk. The Font Bureau, Incorporated. Retrieved December 23, 2013, download Ney Helvetica, R, eText font family. Linotype.com. Retrieved September 21, 2013, how to spot Arial at Mark Simonson Studio, uses of Helvetica. Fonts in use. Linotype announces Helvetica Now poster contest. CreativeVipro.com. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Helvetica Now poster contest. Linotype.com August 19, 2008. Retrieved June 8, 2009, Exhibitions 2007, 50 Years of Helvetica. Museum of Modern Art, New York. Retrieved November 16, 2008. Helvetica. A New Typeface? At Disney Hub Barcelona, Pickle, Janet, April 1, 2011. April Fool's Day, Helvetica becomes Comic Sans and GMAIL Motion is on the move. The Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Patriot News. Retrieved April 1, 2011.